Too many buttons there to push. All right, so this is a good message. Imagine all the people sharing all the world, living as one. I mean, that's really incredible. That's what we need to do. And the only way I can figure out how to possibly do that is to see the inherent good in everyone. The second principle of unity is what we're going to talk about today. And that is knowing that we are inherently good. If there's one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life, and that's God the good, if that's good, then I too must be inherently good because I'm a child of God. I'm a child of that Spirit. Last week at the installation service with Reverend Sean, he told a wonderful story of one of his experiences of when he was in the field ministry program. And he had a practicum of working with children. And the first thing he taught those children was that they were good. That didn't have anything to do with their feelings, their behavior, but it was an inherent characteristic of each and every person, of each and every child, that you are good. You are inherently good. And so there was one child that was acting out one day, and the teacher says, "What is wrong with him today?" And the other kids said, "He forgot he was good." Remember that story? He told us that story last week. And so it's the same with us. You know, when we are angry, when we're judgmental, when things are going, quote unquote, wrong, and when things are not looking in harmony in our world, in our society, it's just because we forgot that we are good. That's all. We just forgot for a moment. And, you know, this is the moment of remembering. I think that is the most important thing that we have to offer here at Unity is a place we can come together and remember that we're good, that we're not only enough, that we are magnificent. And that magnificence can only be activated through our goodness. So I've got the candle remote. How do you like that? Yeah, I was wondering why it wasn't working. Were the candles going on and off? So here's the second principle of unity. And it's very important to keep these fresh in our memory. That's why I like to do it a lot. And so a couple of weeks ago, I did a message called Divine in Nature. And we did review this principle. So let's review it again. Human beings have what? A spark of divinity within them. If you have that spark of divinity within them, that Christ Spirit within, then your very essence is of God. And therefore, you are also inherently good. That's our second principle. But it's not just a spark anymore. It's becoming a flame, and it must burn brightly for others to see that divinity. And it mirrors the divinity in them. If you are remembering your goodness and acting out of goodness and being charitable and good in the world, you're giving others permission to drop all their hatred and all of their division and to remember that they are good also. Then the behavior will come. Then the feelings will come. Then the belief in that will come. But first of all, it has to be an experience. And I can only experience it when someone is modeling that to me. So in the light of this truth, goodness is our nature. Love is our nature. Compassion is our nature. Sharing is our nature. Giving is our nature. Did I leave anything out? Yeah, healing. Healing is our nature. What else? Praying for others. Really praying for others. It doesn't matter if you think that they are your enemies or not. If you think that they're actually not. Anyway, I'm going to let you in on a secret. You really have no enemies. Everyone is your brother. Everyone is your sister. And I know that you guys know this conceptually, but now let's go out in the world and act as if that's true. Act as if we are inherently good and everyone we see is also inherently good, no matter what behavior they seem to be modeling at the moment. That will always change. Their feelings will always change. Their beliefs will always change. Yours will too. Your beliefs will change. Your feelings will change. Your behavior will expand into a more God-like nature, because our nature is to be good. Our nature is to love. Our nature is compassion. Our nature is sharing. Our nature is giving. Our nature is cooperation. Our nature is helping one another. Our nature is healing one another. Our nature is praying for one another. Our nature is joining together, having fun together. All this is our nature, and more, and so much more. Our nature is to discover our spiritual reality together. Our nature is to walk each other home to that infinite, eternal life that we share and experience it here and now. Not wait for some day beyond the clouds after you pass away. Well, I'll know what heaven is after this body is gone. No, you're going to know what heaven is today. How about that? Right here, right now. Imagine only heaven. I talked to John Lennon. He said, you can change that word, but just for the church service. Because his idea was really extraordinary and way ahead of its time. Because heaven and hell, as we have conceived of them, actually don't exist. We've conceived of them as places, not states of consciousness. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that today, that these are states of consciousness. And we have a great opportunity to inspire this inherent goodness in one another and to be witness to the Christ emerging from that field of pure potential. Right? Remember the song from last week, Pure Possibility? That's what you are, pure possibility. Well, out of that pure possibility, all kinds of things can arise depending on what you focus your attention and your belief on. If we focus our attention and our belief on our inherent goodness, we will witness to the Christ emerging, not just in us, but in others as well. I'm witnessing it all the time. I walk around with the Christ wherever I go. That's just the way it is, because that is emerging from the field of infinite possibilities. Why? Because at the core, the essence of your being is the Christ light. It's at the core of everything. It's at the core and the essence of all life. And that's where we join. That is our inherent nature, to join in that light. And so that's what we witness to. We witness the emerging Christ. We have an opportunity to inspire the inherent, or the memory of the inherent goodness. I was thinking of the word I should slip in there last night, and now I got it. It's the memory of your inherent goodness. Because you're the one remembering it. I'm not like placing the inherent goodness there, or it doesn't come from outside of you somewhere. It's already in there. It's already there. It's you. You're inherently good. That spark of divinity is already in there. You don't have to pray to God, give me my goodness and give me my inherent goodness. No, the Christ is in you already. It's in there already. We don't have to go to someone else to discover the Christ. We have to go within. I love that. And so seeing the light in others is really, really important. Wayne Dyer, he gave me this incredible practice, is to see the light in others and then treat them as if that's all you see. So no matter what's going on, you do it with children, right? When they're 2 years old, they're going crazy and they're doing crazy things. And you just sit with them and you love them no matter what. They're screaming, throwing a tantrum, and you just sit there until it passes because you see the goodness in them. You see the light in them. You see the joy and the love in them. And then it's like not too long after that, they're laughing and playing again, and they're having fun. They're just going through a moment of growth, right? And so you know that children need to grow, and they're going through this growth process. But you forget that as adults, we're going through a growth process as well. And we need to do the same thing with each other, to have patience in that process that your brothers and sisters are going through in the discovery of their own true nature. Everyone is discovering or will discover the Christ within, their inherent goodness. Everyone. And so we are patient with our brothers and sisters in their growth process as well. And so we see the light in them, and then we treat them as if that is all we see. I love that. That's what I see is the light. And if they're not showing me the light, I'm just going to wait until that comes forth. Sometimes it might not be mine to do, and I'm going to walk away. But I'm still going to know that eventually that light will be seen by you, seeing it in yourself. I love it. You will see it in yourself. Finally, that is where we're going to end up. We can evolve as a species. We can evolve ourselves and our species and our planet consciously rather than allowing this decline of humankind that we're witnessing in the world today. It looks like we're de-evolving, doesn't it? We're going backwards. We're going back. Instead of seeing the inherent goodness in others, we're looking at why they're so awful. Why are they so bad? Well, they don't agree with me. They must be the devil. The devil's got them. Now we need a savior. No! You're going backwards, guys. You don't need to be saved from inherent goodness. You need to discover you're inherently good, and that's your salvation. You need to discover the Christ within you, or the light within you, the inherent goodness within you. It's already there. Being saved from ourselves, perhaps, from our negative thinking, our mistaken thinking. Instead of positive and negative, we can just look at it as a mistake. It's an error. Error thinking, we call it in Unity. Joel Goldsmith was really big on that idea. It's an error in your thinking. That's all it is. And the error in your thinking has led you to a kind of hypnosis. He called it a mass mesmerism. You're hypnotized. And you're going along believing that what you see, what you think and believe is true. We were looking at some really crazy beliefs. People, despite all the obvious scientific evidence, people still believe the world is flat. Now you laugh at that, but people believe it. How can that be possible? They've mesmerized themselves into that belief. We have each mesmerized ourselves into many different beliefs that aren't even close to truth. That's why I love A Course in Miracles so much. The very first lesson is nothing you see means anything. You're giving it all. The second lesson, you're giving it all the meaning it has for you. Period. Wow, that's very empowering. I'm giving it all the meaning it has for me. What kind of meaning do I want to give it? I want to give it the meaning of goodness. I want to give it the meaning of God. I want to give it the meaning of spiritual evolution. I want to give it the meaning of kindness, of joining in this incredible discovery of our spiritual nature, of receiving the abundance of the universe and mastering the magnificence of my being. That's what I want to see. Yes! So that's the meaning I'm going to give everything in this world and in this universe. Guess what? The universe is going to support the meaning that I give it. And it doesn't matter how crazy it is. That's why you believe all these things that may not have anything to do with reality. So I would prefer to put my belief in truth. I prefer to put my belief in the inherent goodness of each and every person, including myself. And that's how we evolve ourselves. That's how we evolve our species. That's how we consciously evolve our planet or our relationship with the planet and everything, every living thing on it. We're going backwards, my friends. We're in the middle of what they call the sixth great extinction, and we're the cause of it. The human beings. It's crazy. In the last 50 years, we've witnessed a mass extinction of almost 60% of all the plant and animal species on the planet. Some of them have been around for hundreds of millions of years, and they're just gone. You're not going to see them anymore. They're just gone. They're not coming back. Do you understand what's going on? It's crazy. And you think, oh, everything's fine. This is not what I'm teaching. Like, everything's fine. I'm teaching you are inherently good, so start acting like it. That's what I'm teaching. Not everything goes, anything goes, it's all good. No, you are inherently good. You've forgotten that you're inherently good, and therefore you are destroying the planet and yourselves. And we can change that. Why? Because we have choice. We have choice. We have a climate crisis. We have a plastic pollution crisis. We're starting to see a food and water crisis like we've never seen before. We also have a crisis of racism. We still play the game of war and divisive politics and greedy accumulation and subjugation of the poor. And all this results from our belief that we're not inherently good. And therefore, there are others who are not inherently good and equal and powerful and loving and deserving of the same things that we have. Our behavior, our attitudes, and our beliefs that have led to all this, they come from that one cause, that we have forgotten that we are good. That's all. We've just forgotten that we are good. And so I truly believe that the answer is bringing about this evolution, this spiritual evolution, consciously. I ran across this wonderful thing. Does anybody know Teilhard de Chardin? Do you ever read his stuff? It's amazing. It's just beautiful. So he says, oh wait, I'll go back to this for a second. Let's go to the next one. Teilhard says that love is a sacred reserve of energy. It is like the blood of spiritual evolution. That's the stuff that's going to get us going again. It's like we're so tired of, aren't you tired of the division and the hatred and all this conflict that's going on? I think we all are. So the answer is going to be, like I said, if you listen to the podcast that we recorded the other day, the answer is going to be trusting in the spirit of eternal love within us. That love is the blood that keeps us going. That is, it's the life force. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. The life force of spiritual evolution. And it's time to evolve spiritually. If we want to evolve spiritually, we're going to have to be responsible for our choice to evolve. Ellen Davenport said in the 5 principles, regarding the second principle, is that we are responsible not only for our own evolution, but how evolution continues to unfold on the planet. That's incredible. What power you have. What an incredible responsibility. What an incredible adventure. That my decision to evolve spiritually affects the entire planet. Wow. Wow. My decisions, whatever decisions that I make today, are going to affect everyone. Not just myself, but everyone. Incredible that I'm going to decide to be happy. I'm going to decide to be joyous, happy, and free, and abundant, and loving. I'm going to love you with all of my heart, all of my mind, all of my soul, all of my strength. I want to do that. That's my choice. What other choices are you going to make today? Do you see? Do you see? It's up to you. All of your choices are affecting the entire planet. So I'm going to read a little bit now from the 5 principles from Ellen, this section here. She says, human beings, even as violent as we seem to be, are the first species to understand that we have the capacity to change. See, all the other things just change, but they don't realize that they are changing. Like they don't observe themselves changing. They don't realize that they make a decision and it accelerates the change. But we do. It's very interesting to be self-conscious, to be self-aware. Isn't it? Most of us don't want to be. We don't want to be self-aware. But we are a species that has the capacity to witness our own change. This means that we can evolve consciously. And this is the most exciting development so far in our brief human history, that we can evolve consciously. We can choose who we want to be as individuals and explore ways to cooperate as groups. We are responsible not only for our own evolution, but how evolution continues to unfold on the planet. If we learn to cooperate as a mature species, we won't all desire or believe the same things any more than a tree or a bird or a deer become the same. But we will align our self-interests with the well-being of others and of the earth. We will align our self-interest with the well-being of others and the well-being of the earth. So we're not doing anything just for ourselves. That's the whole fun adventure of it all, of spiritual evolution. That what really will make you happy is working for the well-being of others, is working for the well-being of the planet. And so it does feed your own interests. Your self-interest is intimately connected to your brother's interests and your sister's interests and the planet's well-being. Your self-interest and theirs are not apart because we are one. So, in other words, we will create the kingdom of heaven here together. Now, the kingdom of heaven is already there in infinite fullness and potential, but we have the opportunity to create it for ourselves in our own life. What does heaven look like for me and for you here on planet Earth together? What is it going to look like? We have the opportunity to shape that by our own willingness to see each other as one, to cooperate together, and to further the memory of our inherent goodness. The memory of our inherent goodness. I think that is not only the starting point, but the ending point as well. Because that's really the goal, is to get to the experience of my inherent goodness. That's the goal of all my living here, is to get to that point of knowing that I am love and only love, that I am good and only good. Getting to that point in my experience. And I believe the only way to do that is to offer it to everyone, is to offer it to others. So, just to wrap this up with Ellen Davenport, this too is the point of pursuing spiritual growth. This is the whole reason we do it. not only to evolve ourselves, but our world. Jesus assured us that the kingdom of heaven was at hand, among us, already here. Heaven and hell are states of consciousness that we create for ourselves while in human form. Heaven or hell are states of consciousness that we create for ourselves while in human form. And as expressions of the divine, heaven is our natural habitat. Heaven is our natural. Heaven is our natural environment. That's where we were meant to be. That's how we were meant to be with each other. And that's the environment in which we not only discover our inherent goodness, we also live from that inherent goodness. And that can only increase. Once you discover it, it never goes away. It never goes away. Once you discover it, you have it forever. It can only increase in your awareness. And all the other things cease to have value in your heart and mind. All the ways that we have separated ourselves, all the ways that we use to judge others and ourselves, they cease to have value in our minds. All the short-sighted goals of the human personality ceases to have value in your mind. And that one goal of discovering heaven on earth through our inherent goodness becomes the focus of your intention and really becomes the purpose of your life. So thanks you guys for making it your purpose and joining with me in that single purpose of bringing heaven to earth, because heaven is our natural habitat. And we can only remember this through accepting our inherent goodness. So remember, each and every one, that you are a blessing in my life. So continue to be blessed and be a blessing. And we'll see you soon. I love you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass., and visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.